Hi, I'm Chris from homeCode. If you're in my generation, you know that we're not very good at making decisions. Never mind making good and informed ones. We're the ones who decided Spice Girls are appropriate music for little girls. In this lesson, we're going to use some web development tools to better understand the decision-making process. By creating a decision-making program thing, we'll use the free online tool that can also be downloaded called Twine. The big idea with this one is to show that deciding is not an easy thing to do, and to start training our children to better consider the impact that decisions make. If you'd like to use this lesson fully fleshed out with outcomes, thinking routines, and step-by-step handouts for our students, then please check out my teacher marketplace. I've also just launched a Udemy course to train parents and teachers to use coding in education. At the end of this lesson, I'll give you a few more details on that. Here's twinery.org, which is where we can find Twine, which is an open source tool for telling interactive, non-linear stories. But you're going to see we can actually use it to make all sorts of different programs. There are even people who've made full-on role-playing game engines just in Twine. As an example, here's what my final Twine story looks like. And if we push play, then we'll see it's greetings, you are a you've come to a computer program to help you. It's probably a bad idea. And then here I've plugged in the homeCode website that if you click that, then you'll go to homecode.co.za. And then I thought it'd be really fun to have some interactivity, some movement happening. So if I do manage to click get started, it says dear human, you can play through this all yourself, but what do you want to do? And then we've got lots of fun ones. And if I try to get this one, it even says stop trying to click this. I can't help with other stuff. Otherwise, we can choose food to eat. Is it safe? Is it dangerous? Is it safe for everyone? Is it not? Perhaps you should not ask a computer. And then it even takes you all the way back to the start. So if you do want to see that one, the link is in the description below. But we're going to be making our very own one. So to do that, we go to twinery.org. You're welcome to download it. Otherwise, I'm just going to use it online. And what's nice is that as you can see here, it actually saves what you have done previously on the specific computer that you are on. So let's create a new one by clicking plus story. We'll give it a name. I'm going to call it decision machine or decision program. Let's call it that. Decision program. And then we add it in. And here as we start, then it has a passage. Now, a passage is, I think it's better called a room, but it's a place that you start, a place that you can connect to, and it's from here that we're going to branch out into other places. So let's start by double-clicking on this, and here we can give it a name. I'm going to call mine Start. We're not going to have a very convoluted story or a very complex one, so we're not going to worry too much about tags. And in here, when our player or a user comes into the program, this is where they will, in fact, start. And then any text that's written in here, this is what they're going to see up on their screen. So we don't want them to just see double-click this passage to edit it. So let's select all of that and backspace. And as you do, you're going to see a whole bunch of different things that we can actually do in each and every room. Different syntax for typing things. Now we're going to use some of these, and don't worry, you don't have to try and delete all of this. You're welcome to go through it and check out. We're in the Harlow type of this, but there are also other ones, Sugar Cube, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but a lot of different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you a basic one, and really with this basic functionality, you can really do a lot. You can set up your own stories, interactive adventures, or a decision-making machine like this one. Yeah, so here in this first one, we're going to start with some text, and we'll have this text say something like, greetings. Okay, and so here we have the starting, and then it says all of that. And then if we want to test this out, then let's close that and let's go. We can either go test, which shows you any variables and things you've created. Otherwise, we can just go play and let's see what our game looks like. Greetings, you have come to a computer to make a decision, probably a bad idea. And then no interactivity, nothing else that we can do. So in order to do that, we actually need to add in a new passage, a new room. Now there are a few ways that we can do this. We can go plus passage and then create a new one and then try and make a link there. Otherwise, the easier way, and what I would say is the better way, is to come into here and then any new room that you want to make, you type in square brackets, double square brackets like that. Now, if you're looking for that key, just have a look next to your enter key, just to the left, and you will see it over there. We'll also be using that when we do some CSS, when we add some styling a bit later. So in here, I'm going to write or type in the name of the new passage that I want. In this case, get started. So once I've typed it in double square brackets like that, you'll see it goes kind of blue. Then it automatically creates that new passage. And I hope you can already see how powerful that is, how just with this, you can create your very own interactive story, because we're not limited to just one. In fact, we can create another one. I'm going to delete this so you don't need to worry about doing it. Another one over there, and there it's created another one. Now I'm going to delete that one. It'll show you that there's a problem over there if you are missing one, but I'm going to delete that so we can start with that. Okay, so now we've got started, and if we play test this, then we've got that. Now we have something that we can actually do. We can click get started, but we haven't done anything yet, so there's nothing really much to do. From here we can start to add in other passages. We could also want to have some text that doesn't match the exact name of the passage. Now to do that, let's do that in another passage over here. So we could say something like dear human, and then we could make another passage that we wanted to maybe call choice, so it doesn't have such a long name. And then we could type what we want the text to say. What do you want to do? And then you do a hyphen and an little arrow, triangle bracket like that, which points to the name of the room that you want. So I might call it choice 1, something like that. Now you'll see that this text is what shows up on the screen, but this is where it's going to point us to. And in fact, it's already made that new passage for us, like you can see over there. Before we play test this again, I'll show you just how we can make 3 different rooms. So I'm just going to make room 1, room 2, and room 4. Haha, you thought I was going to say 3. Okay, room 3. And then obviously we can have text there, we can ask for choices, and then that will create those rooms over there. Okay, so I won't take you further through how I made mine, but exact same thing. If we go into any of these, then we can see it looks a little bit different because I used some HTML and CSS and some more JavaScript, and we have got these places over here. Each time I did that, then that created a new room. There we go, a new place to go. That's the one that I was highlighting over there. Okay, but let's look back over here. Now what we want to do is we want to look at the CSS. That's the styling. So at the moment, the style of our program is simply that there is a black background. This is what the font looks like. When we hover over a link, this is what it does. We can change all of those things with something called CSS. So if we look at the CSS of the homeCode website, and that's if you push Control-Shift-I, or you can go into your 3 little buttons over there. If you are in Chrome, more tools, and you go to developer tools, this is what you'll see. And here is the HTML, the markup of what everything is in here. And we can see the styling of it over here. So at any point we can actually have a look what it looks like if we change certain things in our website. I'm not going to take you through all of this because you can do full-on courses, and you can have a look at W3 schools. They're actually who I recommend for this. There are a lot of other places that you can do as well. But if we looked at one specific element like the header over here at the top, we can see this is where it is in our actual file, and here is how it is displayed, the color of it, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to be creating and manipulating some of that. In order to do that, we go down to our little menu over here, and then we click Edit Story Style Sheet. Now we need to select something and then manipulate it. So we need to say what we are choosing and then what we would like to do with it. For Twine, what we have is something called TW Story, and that is where everything is encased. So in order to select it, then we type in TW-story, and then we put in some curly brackets. Now to get that, if you know where your square bracket is, it's the same as that. You just hold down Shift, and then you type that. So we could type this all on one line, like that, but it's good practice and it's more common to see it just like this. Now we need to choose what we would like to change. I want to change the background and I want to make it red. Just like that. Okay, so now if I've done that correctly, then I can close, and then now when I push play, we've got a red background. Lovely, fantastic. We also have the option of changing the fonts. Now to do that, I'm going to take you over here to W3 Schools. Again, there are going to be a lot of ways of doing this. This is a nice, quick and easy way. And then I'm going to go to CSS fonts over here. It explains what different fonts look like and how you can use some of them. I'm going to scroll down to web safe font combinations, because these are ones that are built in already. You can actually import ones from Google and any ones that you want, but we're going to be doing that, these ones. And I want to choose, let's go with Trebuchet. So I've selected that. I can right click it and click copy. Then I'll come back to my Twine program over here, edit story style sheet. And then I'm going to choose font family. It's nice to have this all lining up. Font family. And then I'm going to paste in what I selected over there, making sure that it does end with a semicolon at the end. All these little things like the colon over there, the semicolon, that's all quite important. You'll see if we did something like that and tried to play it, then our program just would not work. Got to really strive for accuracy. So let's have a look what that looks like. And there it looks really quite nice with this new font. Let's get a little bit of interactivity going on over here. So to do that, I'm actually going to go into one of these. Let's go to the first one, and we're going to create a button. To do that, we use some HTML with our triangle brackets, and then we type in button in between those. These are called tags in HTML, and I'm going to write the text that I want inside my button. I'm just going to say click here. Now this isn't necessarily something that you are going to use in your final adventure. It could be some a fun distraction kind of along the way. Eventually, if you get there in web development, you can use it to change the background, change all sorts of different things, and all the styling and interactivity and movement and everything like that. So we've created a button like that, click here, and then we have closed our tag. So most tags come in pairs in web development like that. So let's see what that looks like. And here we have a button where when we click, it does absolutely nothing. We want it to actually do something. And in this case, we want it to just change the text that's inside there. Or, let's say click here for a surprise. Now, once again, we need to select and then manipulate. So we need to choose exactly what we want, this button in this case, and then we need to change it. So we want to give this button an ID, something that we can use to refer to it. So I'm going to call it ID. There are a lot of ways that we can do this, and you're going to see this way that I'm using now isn't necessarily the best way to do it, but for our purposes over here, it certainly is the quickest. So I've given this button an ID. I've created some script tags, and in here we can put in some JavaScript code. And what we need to do is choose the document that we're looking at, then refer specifically to this ID, to this button. So we're going to say get element by ID. And look carefully how I've typed that. I've used something called camel case, and that's something that's built into JavaScript, and that helps us to search for this specific ID or any ID. The G at the start is lowercase, elements capital, B capital, I capital. So now we have selected this button, but we haven't said what we want to do with it. First, let's say that it's inner HTML. So that's inside here. We could use inner HTML or inner text if we wanted to. I'm just going to use inner HTML, and we want to give that a value of surprise. Oh, I always spell surprise wrong. It's surprise. Surprise. Okay. So now what this code says is that when the page loads, that's when the script will load, that it'll look for this ID, this button, and then it'll set its inner HTML over here to surprise. So let's see if that works. And it says surprise immediately. We don't want it to happen immediately. We want it to happen when we actually click. So to do that, we're going to create an event over here in an event attribute. And we're going to say on click, we want it to run my function. So just type that in, just like that. What that says is now when we click on this button, we want it to run something called my function. A function is a grouping of code, a bunch of things that we want to happen that we can call on, and whenever we call its name, then it runs anything inside that function. For example, we can declare a function over here called my function. Notice I am in the script tag over here. My function, and making sure that I've got some empty normal brackets over there, and that I have used curly brackets just like we used in our CSS to wrap around what I want to happen in the function. So at the moment, it's our script says that we've got a function called my function, and that whenever my function is called, so whenever we tell something that we want to run, whenever we tell a program that we want to run my function, then it's going to go to the documents, what we're working in, get an element by the ID button, which is this one over here, look at its inner HTML, and set the inner HTML to surprise. Okay, so let's see if that works. Okay, here it has loaded, and if I click here for a surprise, then it says surprise, but it doesn't switch back, it doesn't do anything else. That's just an example of what we can do with JavaScript and how we can work some interactivity. If you do want to know more about that, I recommend that you do go to W3 Schools or Free Code Camp or Codecademy, one of the many tools, and you can look through JavaScript here, HTML, CSS. You can even go on to do many other really cool things like jQuery, which makes a lot of our JavaScript a whole lot easier. Okay, so that's it for now. And that does it. Twine is an awesome tool to play around in, used for storytelling, sequencing, and teaching logic. Twine projects are also excellent for encouraging collaboration and comprehension skills. Before I say goodbye, I just want to give you a special on my Udemy course. So this course is made for homeschool parents and teachers wanting to use tech and coding in teaching, but also not wanting to pay a fortune for subscription services. So in this course, I take you all the way from a foundation in education to how to use free coding tools in any lesson. Coding makes thinking visible and helps to individualize education, and this course helps you in that. If you take a look in the description, you'll see a link that gets you the course for half price. So I've opted out of the Udemy-led discounts, which means that the price below is the absolute best price for this course. I'm also running a competition between here and Facebook. The first 5 people who can email me telling me why they want the course, I'll give it to for free. And if you've got any other lessons, questions, comments, or anything, then please let me know in the comments or by emailing me at chris@homecode.co.za. Until next time, keep exploring. And that does it. Twine is an awesome tool to play around in, used for storytelling, sequencing, and teaching logic. Twine projects are also excellent for encouraging collaboration and comprehension skills. Before I say goodbye, I just want to give you a special on my Udemy course. So this course is made for homeschool parents and teachers wanting to use tech and coding in teaching, but also not wanting to pay a fortune for subscription services. So in this course, I take you all the way from a foundation in education to how to use free coding tools in any lesson. Coding makes thinking visible and helps to individualize education, and this course helps you in that. If you take a look in the description, you'll see a link that gets you the course for half price. So I've opted out of the Udemy-led discounts, which means that the price below is the absolute best price for this course. I'm also running a competition between here and Facebook. The first 5 people who can email me telling me why they want the course, I'll give it to for free. And if you've got any other lessons, questions, comments, or anything, then please let me know in the comments or by emailing me at chris@homecode.co.za. Until next time, keep exploring.